Closer.
I want to thank Vanessa and the American Cancer Society for inviting me to share my story with all of you today. I first learned that I had cancer in 2006 when I was 31 years old and 6 months pregnant with our daughter. I was diagnosed with a malignant brain tumor. When people hear this, they always ask, "What were your symptoms? How did you find it?" Unfortunately, most of my symptoms mimicked a bad pregnancy. I was very tired, nauseous, and occasional headaches. I did not have any neurological symptoms such as blurred vision, change of speech, or hearing loss. A few weeks before I was diagnosed, I began experiencing extreme exhaustion, increased headaches and migraines, and increased vomiting. At the time, I was teaching kindergarten, and missing work was not an option for me. I continued to show up every day while ignoring my symptoms. The week before I ended up at UCLA, I kept going until my body basically crashed. I decided to go to my acupuncturist, Grace Lee, for some natural relief. She thought something was not right. She took my blood pressure and it was 60/40. From there, my husband Eric and I went to a neurologist. He felt I had a stroke and wanted an MRI to confirm. From this point on, I felt disconnected from my body, almost like a walking zombie. After I got the MRI, the radiologist called Eric into the office to tell him that I had a softball-sized tumor in my right frontal lobe. Eric immediately contacted my OB and we headed to UCLA, where she had an emergency team set up for me. The next day, I had an emergency craniotomy. Luckily, my tumor was encapsulated, and they were able to remove 99% of the tumor. After being released from the hospital, I began radiation 5 days a week for 7 weeks while pregnant. These 2 months pushed me to my limits. I felt horrible with nausea and burning in my abdominal area, and began losing my hair, which at the time was very long and a huge part of who I was. I cried every day, trying to decide whether to continue suffering or to take our daughter out. But I knew every additional day would be a better outcome for her. On Friday, I finished radiation, and we delivered our beautiful daughter, Brianna Stephanie Blum, on Monday, February 16th, 2007. At the time, I was about 30 weeks pregnant. She came out 4 pounds, 10 ounces, no jaundice, no difficulties taking a bottle, no NICU, and came home with us. I was then given 2 weeks off before starting a full year of chemo. As you can all imagine, this year was beyond difficult for me and my family. I had major depression, anxiety, and thoughts of suicide. That was all I could focus on during the most difficult days of my life. Unfortunately, at this time, I was too sick to focus on my daughter, my husband, and my family that so desperately needed me to fight. But with any and all difficult times in my life, I was taught by my grandfather from a very early age, I can, I will, and I must. During this time, I decided I will do whatever it takes to get better. The doctors told me to do chemo and radiation. However, I felt there were other options out there. Eric and I decided to implement alternative treatments as part of my road to recovery. These therapies included acupuncture, herbs, hypnotherapy, energy work, and chiropractic care. I believe because of these therapies, my blood levels returned to normal after each treatment. In addition, I was able to enjoy my daughter and attend Mommy and Me classes, and I never got sick during this time when my immune system was extremely low. These therapies played an important part in my role of recovery. Unfortunately, like my oncologist and many others, they are not informed or educated on the benefits of nutrition and alternative therapies. My hope today is that the American Cancer Society can help start an alternative therapy research program to educate both doctors and patients. I believe that these therapies help me recover as well as I have today. I hope the same for others facing similar situations. Again, I would like to thank the American Cancer Society for offering me this opportunity to share my story. I want to thank my husband for being the best spouse during the worst times of our lives. He not only had to care for me, but our newborn all at the same time. Thank you.